I cannot stress this enough. We're standing on a ticking time bomb of grocery shortages and skyrocketing prices. This isn't some far-fetched rumor or a flimsy conspiracy. This is about real-world factors lining up. Unpredictable weather issues, labor shortages, supply chain bottlenecks, and global market shifts, threatening the accessibility and affordability of our favorite foods. Ask any store manager, and they'll tell you they've seen disruptions creeping in over the past year. Talk to economists, and they'll warn you that certain staple items might be tough to come by or radically more expensive in just a few weeks. Regular shoppers, folks like you and me, are already feeling the pinch when we see our grocery bills at checkout. And it's set to get worse next month. Yes, you heard me right. Not next year, not down the road, but literally next month, April 2025, is being flagged as a potential tipping point for shortages, hoarding, and wild spikes in costs. You might be thinking, this sounds dramatic. Is it really that urgent? Let me tell you what's urgent. Grocery chains don't restock with a snap of the fingers. Supply chains are complicated webs. If you wait until shelves start looking bare to react, you'll be competing with hundreds of panicked people for the last boxes of rice or the final can of kidney beans. I've spoken to grocery managers at large U.S. chains in multiple states, and the warning is pretty consistent. If you wait until April to start grabbing these items, you may already be too late. Preparedness experts, financial advisors, and plain old everyday shoppers I talk to at the local supermarket all say the same thing. Building a sensible stockpile now not only saves you from panic later, but it also saves you money. Because once the word spreads, prices could skyrocket. This is not about fear-mongering, it's about common sense. Things might stabilize again, or they might not. But there's absolutely no harm in making sure you have the essentials to keep yourself and your family fed, comfortable, and well-prepared. We're talking about real groceries, real products that you can find on nearly any store shelf in the U.S. These items will carry you through potential price hikes, temporary shortages, or even shipping delays. And to underscore how pressing the matter is, I've compiled insights from store managers who keep track of inventory, from experts who analyze market data, and from everyday shoppers who've spotted red flags on their local store shelves. Together, we've narrowed down 30 grocery products that seem especially at risk, or that offer the most bang for your buck in uncertain times. Now, let's break down these items in a casual, easy-to-digest conversation. Keep in mind, I'm not advocating hoarding a mountain of supplies to the point that you deprive others of their fair share. The goal is to make sure you have enough to weather any potential issues comfortably. This is about being smart, planning ahead, and, quite frankly, beating the mad rush that could happen once we hit April 2025. Here's what you need to know about each of these crucial foods, complete with real-life testimonies and expert opinions. Let's begin with the foundational foods that, according to multiple grocery store managers, fly off the shelves quickest whenever there's even a hint of disruption. First on everyone's mind is rice. You probably guessed it. Rice is an absolute staple. Nutritionally, it's energy-dense and incredibly versatile. Experts in food economics point out that global weather changes, particularly flooding or droughts in major producing regions, can cause a spike in prices. When I chatted with a local store manager in California, she told me that whenever there's talk of rising costs, big bags of rice are the first to go. Regular shoppers also confirm that a sudden sale or rumor of shortage sends people running for the rice aisle. If you buy it in bulk and store it properly in airtight containers, it'll last for years. Another must-have is dried beans. We're talking kidney beans, navy beans, pinto beans, black beans. These are protein powerhouses and have an incredibly long shelf life. According to a professor of nutrition I spoke with at a Midwestern university, dried beans offer a nutrient-dense alternative to more expensive proteins like meat. Grocery managers in multiple states have noticed that beans become scarce every time there's a rumor of a price hike. Even if you prefer canned, stocking up on dried is cheaper, easier to store, and more space-efficient. Third in line is pasta. Yes, the humble spaghetti or rotini could become your go-to comfort food if prices spike. Not only is pasta shelf-stable, but it's also something kids and adults alike will happily eat, making it a practical crowd pleaser. A manager at a big box store in New York mentioned that pasta and pasta sauce often have those buy one, get one free deals, which vanish quickly once people suspect a shortage. A frequent shopper I chatted with in Illinois told me she always keeps at least 2 extra boxes in her pantry because it's a perfect last-minute dinner. If you have room, stock up on more. Speaking of sauce, canned tomatoes and tomato sauce might feel like a small detail, but ask any home cook and they'll tell you these form the base for loads of meals, from pasta to soups to chili. Supply chain analysts say tomatoes can be volatile because harvests are heavily dependent on climate conditions. Once a shortage hits, prices skyrocket and store shelves empty fast. Regular shoppers will often point out, "I only buy them when they go on sale." But in times of uncertainty, sales might be rare, so it's wise to grab a decent stash now. Next on the list is peanut butter. This might surprise some people, but peanut butter is often considered a survival food for its combination of protein, fats, and relatively long shelf life, especially the commercial brands found in U.S. stores. A father of 3 I chatted with in Florida emphasized how peanut butter is a lifesaver when you have growing kids who want snacks after school. Plus, it doesn't require refrigeration, making it an ideal addition to any stockpile. Shelf-stable milk comes up often in conversations with parents. This includes both powdered milk and UHT, ultra-high temperature processed milk. According to a dairy department manager in a large supermarket chain, disruptions in the milk supply happen more frequently than people realize, especially if there are labor shortages in the trucking industry. Powdered milk might not taste quite the same as fresh, but it's invaluable in baking and cooking if fresh milk becomes too expensive or hard to find. Flour in all its forms, be it all-purpose, whole wheat, or specialty flours, should be on your radar. Economists observing wheat production mention that global exports can be thrown off by political upheavals or poor harvests, driving up domestic prices. A friend who bakes sourdough regularly shared that she never wants to be caught without enough flour because homemade bread is a lifesaver when sliced bread prices go up. It's easy to store flour in airtight containers. You just need to be mindful of moisture and humidity. Yeast pairs perfectly with flour, and home bakers will absolutely need it. During past emergencies, like the early months of the 2020 pandemic, yeast disappeared from store shelves faster than you can say pizza dough. A manager at a specialized baking supply store told me that a run on yeast can happen within days of rumors spreading about supply chain issues. Having a few packets on hand means you can bake your own bread, which can be a huge money saver. Cooking oils rank high on the stock-up list because they're essential for almost any cooking method: frying, roasting, baking, you name it. Vegetable oils, canola oils, olive oils, whatever your preference, are subject to price volatility based on harvest yields. A friend of mine who's a registered dietitian warns that rancidity can be an issue if you store oil improperly, so it's best to keep it in a cool, dark place. Grocery managers say they see oil vanish from shelves quickly during panic buying scenarios, so this is an item you don't want to skip. Sugar is often overlooked as a stockpile item, but it's crucial not only for sweetening, but also for preserving foods. A canning enthusiast I spoke with explained that when she cans jams or jellies, sugar is indispensable. A shortage of sugar can spike prices on everything from baked goods to candy. If you have space, stowing away a few extra bags of sugar can save you from future sticker shock. Honey works as a sweetener and has an incredibly long shelf life. Experts call honey the only food that practically never spoils. It also contains antioxidants and trace nutrients, making it a slightly healthier option for sweetening. During tough times, having honey on hand can elevate simple meals and is a comforting treat to have. Regular shoppers in local co-ops suggest buying from local beekeepers, but even store-bought honey is worth adding to your stash. Oats and other hot cereals make for a reliable, hearty breakfast that's inexpensive and easy to store. A nutritionist I interviewed said oats are full of fiber and can keep you full much longer than sugary cereals, which also makes them a top pick for families on a budget. A grocery manager in Texas noted that big canisters of oats often sell out in waves, especially if there's talk of imminent shortages. Canned meats like tuna, chicken, and salmon deserve consideration. You might prefer fresh meat, But if there's a spike in meat prices or you face limited availability, these cans are lifesavers. They've got protein, they're relatively portable, and they require zero refrigeration until opened. According to an industry insider, processed meats and fish are among the first products to experience price fluctuations when supply gets tight. Shoppers looking for straightforward protein options should have a few cans lined up in the pantry. Canned vegetables of various kinds, corn, peas, green beans, come next on the list. A store manager in the Midwest told me that people often gravitate toward frozen veggies for their fresh flavor, but frozen requires consistent electricity to keep them good. If you're worried about blackouts or anything that might interrupt the power supply, canned vegetables last longer and don't rely on refrigeration. Regular shoppers often note that they wait for discounts to fill up their pantries, so you can keep an eye out for deals as well. Canned fruits, like peaches, pineapple, and mixed fruit, are vital for getting vitamins in a pinch. While fresh fruit is always ideal, long-term storage can be challenging. That's where cans come in handy. A mother in Washington state told me that during winter or times of shortage, canned peaches become a sweet treat that keeps her kids happy. Grocery pros warn that fruit in 100% juice might be a bit pricier, but it's a healthier choice than fruit in heavy syrup, so pick accordingly. Nutritious soups and stews in cans or jars should also make your shortlist. These are basically ready-to-eat meals requiring nothing more than heating. For anyone dealing with time constraints or a lack of cooking resources, these can be an absolute game changer. A busy college student in New Jersey told me she lived off canned chili and soups during a storm-induced power outage in her area, highlighting how convenient and comforting these are in stressful times. Broths and stocks, whether chicken, beef, or vegetable, can help you stretch your meals. A grocery manager told me that during panic buying events, people focus on main foods, forgetting how essential broths can be for soups, gravies, and sauces. It's a staple that can transform your cooking, and it's shelf-stable for quite a while if stored properly. Snack bars, granola bars, and other portable energy-dense options often get overlooked as essential stockpile items. However, they're great when you need a quick source of nutrition without the fuss of cooking. A personal trainer I know in Arizona swears by protein bars as an emergency snack. She keeps a few in her gym bag and a bigger supply at home in case she finds herself short on time or unable to cook a meal. Salt is something you rarely think about until you run out. Beyond seasoning, salt plays a key role in food preservation. A local small grocery store owner in Kansas told me that even slight disruptions in the supply chain can drive up the cost of basic seasonings like salt and pepper. Stocking up now ensures you'll never be caught off guard. Spices and herbs might seem like a luxury compared to the staples, but cooking experts emphasize that flavor is crucial for morale and enjoyment. Keeping a selection of dried herbs like oregano, basil, and thyme can turn mundane pantry ingredients into a satisfying meal. According to a frequent traveler who has experienced different types of crises abroad, having flavorful foods can make a huge emotional difference. In short, never underestimate the power of good seasoning. Vinegar is another multi-purpose item that's fantastic for cooking, cleaning, and food preservation. Apple cider vinegar, white vinegar, or even balsamic can last indefinitely in your pantry. A longtime homesteader I interviewed in Vermont said she uses vinegar for pickling extra produce, making it a crucial element of any well-thought-out stash. Jerky or dehydrated meats come highly recommended by people who enjoy camping or prepping. They're protein-rich, lightweight, and don't take up much storage space. A hiker in Colorado told me that jerky was her go-to food for emergencies because it stays good for a long time without refrigeration. Grocery store managers often mention that these items can be pricey, so watching for sales is a good idea. Seeds and nuts in sealed packaging are another high-protein, high-fat, and nutrient-dense option. According to a grocery store manager in Oregon, almonds and sunflower seeds are some of the first snack items to go when people start stockpiling. A vegan friend of mine relies on nuts and seeds as her primary protein source, emphasizing that she can't risk a shortage. Dried fruits like raisins, cranberries, and apricots provide a quick sweet fix and a healthier dessert alternative than candy. Dietitians love them for their fiber and nutrient content, although they can be high in sugar. You can extend their shelf life by storing them properly, and they make a great addition to your morning oats or snack mixes, as confirmed by shoppers who prioritize healthy eating. Baby food and formula are crucial if you have infants. Don't assume they'll always be in steady supply. A father of newborn twins explained that when certain brands go out of stock, parents scramble to find what they need. If your household needs baby supplies, it's better to have a small surplus than to risk being empty-handed. The nutrition of your little one is non-negotiable. Specialty items, such as gluten-free products or lactose-free milk, should be a priority if someone in your family has dietary restrictions. The manager of a big supermarket chain told me that these specialty items aren't stocked in the same large quantities as conventional goods, so they disappear even faster during shortages. A shopper in a local grocery store said her celiac diagnosis means she can't risk finding the gluten-free section wiped out, so she always keeps a backup supply at home. Bottled water or water filtration systems are often discussed in preparedness circles. While water might not be a food, it's critical for survival. If you have the space, a decent supply of bottled water can ease your mind, but a good filtration system can be even more practical in the long run. People who've been through hurricanes or floods in various regions stress that clean, drinkable water can become rare if local infrastructure is disrupted. Coffee and tea are more than just beverages. They're creature comforts that can give you a morale boost when things feel tense. A coffee aficionado in Seattle told me how coffee turned into a luxury during a supply chain hiccup. And if you're a tea drinker, herbal varieties might also serve medicinal or soothing purposes. Stockpiling a few extra bags or containers ensures you don't have to face chaotic mornings without your caffeine fix. Condiments like mayonnaise, ketchup, mustard, and hot sauce can make all the difference in keeping meals interesting. A grocery store manager in Georgia informed me that while people often forget condiments, they provide a sense of normalcy. In uncertain times, that sense of normalcy goes a long way. Finally, cereal, especially varieties that are fortified, provides a quick meal option without cooking. A mom of 4 in Texas told me that cereal can double as a snack for the kids, ensuring they're not reaching for junk all the time. When a crisis strikes, shelf-stable breakfast foods are an easy way to start the day without stressing over meal prep. So there you have it. 30 practical, shelf-stable, and downright essential grocery products that experts, store managers, and regular people all agree should be on your stock-up list, preferably before April 2025 hits. I know it's a lot to take in, but being prepared is about more than just buying things. It's also about storing them the right way. Be mindful of temperature, humidity, and expiration dates. Rotate your stock to use older items first, and always check packaging for any damage. If you take care of your stash, it'll take care of you. Trust me, you don't want to be the person rushing to the store in the middle of next month, only to find the aisles picked clean and prices doubled. It's not just about the inconvenience, it's about peace of mind. Experts can't say for sure how things will play out, and maybe this all blows over quietly. But why gamble? The cost of being prepared is usually far less than the cost of being caught off guard. And remember, this isn't just about gloom and doom. The items you stockpile now will almost certainly get used eventually. You'll simply have them at a more reasonable price and without the panic factor. With that in mind, consider this your friendly nudge, even if the introduction sounded pretty intense. Whether you're casually picking up an extra bag of rice or reorganizing your pantry to accommodate new purchases, do it now, before the rush. Grocery store managers are bracing for a possible run on supplies. Economists are watching commodity prices with concern, and everyday shoppers are quietly, or not so quietly, building their personal reserves. The writing is on the wall, and you have a chance to get ahead. So get out there, make a plan, and gather what you need. Hopefully, it won't be half as bad as some people fear. But if it is, you'll be calm, prepared, and sitting on a solid food supply. That's a much better place to be than relying on luck when the crunch comes. Stay smart, stay safe, and may your pantry be well stocked when April 2025 arrives.